Okay, you want the... Okay. Your call. All good. All right, far away. Who wants to start off?
What are you making of the markets crashing around the world at the moment?
Look, there's no doubt that the economic environment that globally we're in is a tough one. We've seen around the world everyone dealing with increases in the cost of living, particularly as a result of inflation, as a result of the combination of COVID recovery and also the war in Ukraine. Obviously, it is a difficult time, but New Zealand, in amongst that, is as well placed as we could be.
What impacts will we see on New Zealand?
That's not a reflection that I can provide right here and now, but we do know overall our economy is in a strong position. We have low levels of debt relative to other countries, low unemployment, and of course you can see that we have things like significant export growth, things that give us that stability in New Zealand that will help us as we move through this COVID recovery in a tough economic time.
Should Kiwis brace?
Again, as I say, we are in a tough time. That is why in the budget we provided packages to help get Kiwis through this period of time as the world recovers from COVID and the difficulties that that's bringing. The cost of living payment, fuel reductions, halving public transport costs, all designed to get us through these tough periods.
How does it feel to have to go into that entrance to a school because of protesters?
Look, it had zero effect on the visit or the day. It's not up to me to decide which driveway we use, and usually it's of no material impact which entrance we come in.
And this happened last time you were in Christchurch as well. Are you concerned about this ongoing protest presence wherever you go? No, because it isn't wherever I go. Look, from time to time, but it very rarely has any impact on the events themselves that we're a part of. And you know, it would be a shame to let it detract from, for instance, what was otherwise a really lovely day with a group of school students excited about the reopening of their brand new school. And to be honest, there was very little effect of the protests on that event.
Jacinda, what's your opinion on the Christchurch Stadium? Are you disappointed by the delays?
Well, ultimately, these are matters for council. When the global settlement was worked through, essentially the idea was that council would have the ability to manage those decisions, and that is still the case. You know, we wanted to get back to a position where there was that sense of return of normality and that the councils were able to really lead on those decisions, and so these are really matters for them.
But they are going out for public consultation
Yep.
at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you think they should go ahead with building it?
Oh,
despite
that's
the blowout?
for them. The idea always was with the global settlement that you would have those decisions being made by council and community. And obviously they've made decisions on how they're going to undertake that process, and that's for them.
Are you aware of what direction Kitty Allen gave to Doc on the use of Te Reo?
All I've seen is her commenting that she has not written any directives. So really, you'd be best to ask her.
And generally, what is the ministerial direction given on use of Te Reo by ministers?
Oh, again, it'll be up to individual ministers to choose, you know, how they're engaging with their officials. But I think you'll find, for in large part, many just leave that to their government departments and in their own way of communicating. This is not something that we sit and write government directives over. We're much more focused on actually what we are delivering as a government. Okay, anything else, anyone?
Yes, just
Oh, yeah.
Prime Minister, would you consider working with Te Pāti Māori after the next election?
I get asked a lot of hypotheticals about future parliaments, but we're in the business of running government while we are in the position of having been elected. So I'm not in the place of making any hypotheticals or comments on what might happen in over a year's time.
And could you consider, therefore, or can you afford to have MPs like Adrian and Penny move on to the list and away from their seats?
Again, we're only halfway through this term. Our focus rightly is on doing the job we've been elected to do, not speculating about what may or may not happen at the next election. Okay, thanks everyone.
Can I ask one question?
Oh, sure you can.
Have you heard reports of weapons and supplies being sent to Ukraine and not making it past Poland? And do you know whether New Zealand sent supplies have made it to the front line?
So, to answer the second half of your question, of course, New Zealand, where we have provided either humanitarian or military aid, that has been through the NATO Trust Fund or through the UK. And so will then be dealt with by those agencies or nations as opposed to New Zealand directly. The only area where we had directly sent in supplies, from my recollection, are the helmets, the flak jackets. Those were kit that we had available from New Zealand. We used the logistical support of other countries to get that in, so that wouldn't necessarily have been part of our endpoint delivery on our side. So whilst I can't give you detail, it should give you a bit of a sense of who's actually managing delivery on individual items.
Are we looking to send anything further from there?
As I say, so I've listed off the things that we've supplied directly, and those were taken by other military into Europe. And then otherwise we have put through funding, monetary support into the funds where those purchases are then being made by third parties.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks everyone. Okay. Okay, you want the... Okay. Your call. All good. All right, far away. Who wants to start off?
What are you making of the markets crashing around the world at the moment?
Look, there's no doubt that the economic environment that globally we're in is a tough one. We've seen around the world everyone dealing with increases in the cost of living, particularly as a result of inflation, as a result of the combination of COVID recovery and also the war in Ukraine. Obviously, it is a difficult time, but New Zealand, in amongst that, is as well placed as we could be.
What impacts will we see on New Zealand?
That's not a reflection that I can provide right here and now, but we do know overall our economy is in a strong position. We have low levels